How's it going? Once again, here I am. Me and my very clean cat. Got some good smoke still. Ready to give you guys some information. I actually found an article on basically the 10 uses of CBDs that nobody really knows of. Most people actually know what THC is. Most people know what CBD is. Well, if you don't know what CBD is, it's the non-psychoactive form of cannabis. It's basically the term is cannabidiol. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Something like that. Basically, unlike THC, which is what we smoke to get that feeling, CBD doesn't really have that very heavy feeling. It's more of a mellow feeling that you end up getting. That whole when your whole body just kind of lets go. That's CBD kicking in. So let's kick in some CBD and kick in some THC and see where we go from there. Well, one of the number one uses, and I'm gonna have to agree with this because if it wasn't for my smoking of the green, I'd still be smoking the cancer sticks. But studies have actually shown that CBD can help treat cigarette addiction. So basically, what they did, they got a bunch of participants of smokers together, and they were asked to use a small inhaler. One inhaler actually contained CBD, while the other inhaler just contained a typical placebo used just to kind of get the brain to think something was going on. The group that used the CBD actually found that they had a 40% drop in how much they wanted to smoke. So instead of rushing out to go smoke, they with some CBD and done. They didn't rush out to go smoke. They just continued about whatever they were doing, and they found that literally almost half of their craving was taken away by using CBD. The placebo factor, on the other hand, no. They didn't find any other. There was nothing. No change whatsoever. They just kept smoking cigarettes just the same. Took their inhaler, ran out for a cigarette. Took their inhaler, ran out for a cigarette. Actually, I have found that I quit smoking. I'm 33 now. I quit smoking when I was 28 years old. Uh, and if it wasn't for just smoking weed all the time and actually replacing my cigarette smoking with weed smoking, I'd still be a cigarette smoker. And the next thing is number two, acne. I remember back in the 90s, we were told that marijuana will give you bad acne, will make you have pimples, you'll break out, all if you smoke marijuana. I guess that was actually just one of those false propagandas brought on like reefer madness just to get you not to smoke. Basically, in the end, that's all it was. We don't want you guys to smoke. So we're going to tell you lies and tell you all kinds of stuff. Just like the fact that if you smoke, you will not be able to produce children properly. Or there will be deformed children. Yes. If I smoke marijuana, my kid's going to come out with an arm growing out of his ear. But basically, they're actually finding that Used topically, basically CBD oil or CBD mixed with a lotion, used topically, actually reduced the amount of acne and pimples found on most teenage kids, or people suffering from acne. That's pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't mind actually just using a little CBD and no more pimples. Basically, it stopped what they're saying is that the CBDs actually stop the lipid function that actually causes your face to break out. The number three use, diabetes. Basically, it blocks and prevents certain chemicals in the body known to be associated with autoimmune deficiencies. One of that being diabetes. Diabetes actually is an autoimmune deficiency that lowers or raises the amount of insulin your body actually produces. A lot of the times it actually lowers the amount of insulin, so it makes you insulin dependent. It can do all kinds of bad things to your body. CBD is actually being known to help control and regulate your body's chemical balance by allowing your body to naturally just come about and do what it's supposed to do normally, naturally, on its own. Basically, these are actually just awesome things. I mean, autoimmune system, somebody who has AIDS, tell them to smoke some weed. It can actually help them better than their $750 pill that they're buying now. Fibromyalgia, number 4. During the study, those who used CBD found a huge reduction in pain, while those using traditional methods did not. Basically, they actually did a scientific study where they were giving CBD to those who were suffering from fibromyalgia, where they studied those to those who did not use CBD, those who were using traditional medications and opiates and stuff like that for their fibromyalgia. Basically, they were seeing that these people had a reduction in their pain, an increase in their mobility. They were seeing just their overall life was easier to go about after just ingesting some CBD. Keep in mind, when I'm talking about CBD, a lot of these people are taking it in forms of just an oil, like a little oil in a syringe that's it. That's how they take their medication. It's very safe, very effective, and seems to be working for a lot of different things. Number 5, prion disease, or what we also know as mad cow disease. Uh, the proteins that cause neurodegenerative diseases like mad cow have been shown to completely halt when introduced to CBD. So those who've been suffering from mad cow disease and stuff like that, they actually studied this. A lot of these studies are studied on mice first. So they actually have mice who have mad cow disease. They introduce CBD to these mice and have seen that the proteins and all that actually cause the mad cow disease that's causing the problem is actually completely halted. From that point, it's easier to take care of. I mean, it's not saying it's a complete cure yet, but it's a lead to a cure. It's basically the same with marijuana and cancer. We're not saying marijuana is the complete cure to cancer and it's going to completely stop everybody from having cancer, but it's a start. If it's actually being known to reduce the signs of breast cancer in women, it's actually known to do all kinds of, reduction in pancreatic cancer and stop pancreatic cancer. Why can't it be the leading cure for cancers? Or at least lead us towards the cure. There isn't one right now. Number 6, PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. believe it or not, not just wartime veterans suffer from this. I have said this before in another video where I talked about just this. Literally everybody in the world suffers from it at some point or another. Whether it be you got jumped by a gang of people and now you don't walk down certain streets, or at some point in your life you got into a horrific car accident, now you don't drive freeways, or now you don't drive at all. It these certain things are post-traumatic stress disorders. It's not that you were at war, has nothing to do with that. It's not that you're stressed out or you're just, it's you got into an accident, something happened in your life that caused this stress, and it was traumatic. And now you suffer from it. This here, smoke a little bit, go drive. Drive a little bit. See how you feel. Go from there. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a big thing for everybody. Everybody suffers from it. Mostly the people who go to war suffer from it the worst. Imagine I go to Disneyland with my girl and we sit there at night when they're shooting off the big fireworks at the end of the night, and I kind of think to myself, you know what? This would be scary for somebody who has witnessed this in real life. I was sitting under Thunder Mountain. And in Thunder Mountain, you got the train that goes right over your head, and you got these rocks. And so I kind of just thought to myself, I just let everybody disappear and just thought to myself, what would it be like if I was in the middle of a war right now? This would be scary. My heart started racing. Now I see why, soldiers suffer. I mean, that's scariness right there. I mean, everybody else is, ooh, ah, pretty. But a soldier in that situation, in that one particular spot, and train comes over their head and everything flashes them right back to that wartime, that's a scary thought. That's why these people suffer. This helps. I ended up having to take out my wax pen real quick and take a couple puffs just to get me myself to calm down. I've never been in war. Number 7, schizophrenia. In 2012, psychiatrists used amisulpride, which is a known pharmaceutical form of anti-schizophrenic medication, and compared it to the use of CBD. Both of them worked. These were done on human patients. Both of them were used on human patients. Both of them worked. Both of them did what they were supposed to do. The only difference was CBD patients actually seemed to outshine the other ones. Basically, just became normal. They didn't hear the voices. They didn't see other people. Whatever was making them schizophrenic went away more. And they were able to just focus more on what was going on around them. Now, not saying that one works better than the other or anything like that, just, you got to look at side effects, you got to look at everything else. One does have major side effects and has major downsides. Well, marijuana is natural. It's an herb. You smoke it. Number 8, Crohn's disease. Basically, Crohn's disease is a bowel disease that basically just affects a lot of different people. I suffer from different bowel diseases, and a lot of other people do too, due to the fact of bad digestion that we all eat. A lot of people drink those Monsters, which is probably the worst thing ever. I had one the other day after a whole year of not having one, and I suffered for about 3 days. I mean, basically, bowel diseases are amongst us because of the diets that we decide to choose for ourselves. Going out drinking and, taking Jaeger bombs and all that stuff. These things are bad for our stomachs. No matter how much you want to go and have that extra cheeseburger at McDonald's, these things are not good for our stomachs. You know, our stomachs are only meant to handle certain foods cooked and processed in a certain way. And unfortunately, now our world is filled with bowel diseases. Some of them that are so slight and mild that you don't even really realize it. Just, just my stomach gets upset a little bit, or I get a little indigestion, or, different little things like that. Oh, CBD and THC together have been known to help treat these. Number 9, multiple sclerosis. Scientists studied the use of CBD on mice with MS and saw within the 10 days after treatment started, they had superior motor function skills. Basically, when you suffer from MS, you don't want to function. You don't function. It's really hard, but they actually saw that in mice that had MS, after introducing them to CBD, that they actually started gaining their motor function skills. They actually started doing stuff. So literally, they're watching this stuff cure or help with MS. Well, let's move it on to human studies. Let's see if this is true. Insomnia. We all know that weed helps us sleep. I mean, it's the one side effect that is commonly known for smoking, ingesting any part of the known cannabis plant is a form of just feeling tired. After a certain amount, yes. I mean, do I feel tired after you see me smoke? No, actually, I feel quite awake. I'm ready to go. It's actually morning time for me. I'm about to go make me some breakfast after I get off this video, since I'm getting a little long here looking at my time. But we all know that this is the one thing that it actually has. When you go over the counter for stuff to help you sleep, these over the counter medications have addiction properties. They're known to be addictive, where you cannot go to sleep unless you have them. NyQuil is even used like this for a lot of people, where they will take a little NyQuil at night because they got addicted to it while they were sick one time for a couple weeks. Over the counter NyQuil is addictive. Who'd think? But also, a lot of these things also leave you groggy. Don't want to really do much the next day. You hurt, you're tired. So, with all these different releases for CBD, no wonder why they're just releasing CBD in some states. You know what? If you're against that, well, then you're against marijuana, period. CBD releasing just CBD only would be awesome, because that introduces your entire state to cannabis, basically. A lot of times you can't take CBD without a little THC. So remember to educate before you medicate. You all have a peaceful, positive, and productive day. Coming at you guys.